Oh, vitamin D, ain't you great? Vitamin D reduces risk of melanoma and other skin cancer. Literally everything that it gets studied for just comes out and just proves to be quite a wondrous vitamin. Okay, we already knew that it's awfully good when it comes to your immune system, okay, keeping your energy levels high, and now it's also helping you prevent getting skin cancer. You love to see it. Interest in the sunshine vitamin exploded during the pandemic due to its immunity boosting effects. A new study finds that regularly taking vitamin D supplements is linked to a significant reduction in melanoma risks. So okay, this is on the supplementation side. Interesting. Researchers also discovered that people who regularly took vitamin D supplements also had a reduced risk of other types of skin cancer. All right. New study was conducted under the North Asavo Skin Cancer Program in Finland. Yeah, where they see the sun a lot, I guess. Okay. And included 498 adult patients estimated to have increased skin cancer risk. They're awfully pale people. Basal cell sarcoma, or carcinoma. I just about got that right. Squamous cell carcinoma, and melanoma. Serum calcidoidal levels, a measure of vitamin D in the blood, were analyzed in about half of the patients and were found to correspond with the patient's self-reported intake of vitamin D supplements. A key finding among the regular vitamin D users, they had lower percentages of participants with a history of past or present melanoma, only 18% compared to 32% of those who didn't take a vitamin D supplement. Just about twice as effective. Good stuff. Researchers looked at the different types of skin cancer. Just 62% of regular supplement users had a history of the disease compared to nearly 75% of non-users. All right. Regular use of vitamin D associates with fewer melanoma cases when compared to non-use, but the causality between them, or the causality, sorry, no casualties confirmed yet. We're still early in the study. Between them is obscure, concluded the study's author, Dr. Adam Starr, an oncologist. Are you sure about that? Because that's a famous person's name at Staten Island University Hospital. Okay, part of the Northwell Health and in New York. Told the Epoch Times there were several possible reasons vitamin D could have an anti-melanoma effect. All right, posit your opinion, doc. Modulation of the immune system and of vitamin D's antioxidant effects could be reasons. Additionally, a relationship between vitamin D metabolism and sunlight exposure plus melanoma and sunlight exposure may have some interplay. Interesting. Research shows vitamin D also reduces inflammation associated with increased cancer risk. Yeah, that's true, but how do you run that back to cancer, though? That's interesting, okay? I'm not saying there's anything bad at reducing your inflammation. In fact, I promote it quite regularly. It's just, how do you draw the two together? It has it's not a tumor, anti-tumor properties, and even improves the effectiveness of some anti-cancer therapies. All right. Vitamin D is known to help our bodies absorb and retain calcium and phosphorus. This is interesting, okay, this part's good, which are crucial for healthy bones. Many organs and tissues have receptors for vitamin D, suggesting this nutrient plays important roles beyond bone health. Vitamin D is also is both a vitamin found in food and a hormone in our bodies produced when exposed to sunlight. When exposing our skin to sunlight is among the best ways to get vitamin D. Natural ultraviolet light is one of the major risk factors for melanoma and non-melanoma skin cancer. Exactly, so that's why it's interesting, and it's very strange, okay, because the natural way that most people get their vitamin D, if they spend any time outside, is through the sun. So if you supplement with something that you can naturally get from the sun, you can prevent one of the major downsides of spending too much from the sun. It's an odd correlation to draw. Periodic sun exposure and being sunburned during childhood and adolescence are also associated with increased melanoma risk. Especially for fair-skinned people. Well, with blonde or red hair. Well, I got brown hair, okay, but you might not be able to tell, but kind of not exactly the darkest person, okay? Quarter native and all that stuff, but still at the same time. Mostly during the summer, even though, I do spend quite a bit of time outside just running and stuff like that, and just doing stuff whenever I got free time outside. But I keep a healthy tone throughout the year, but if I spend any extended time outside, I will definitely burn, especially the inside of my arms. Like it's totally different. Like even right now in the dead of winter, there's a noticeable difference. You can't see it, okay, because the camera's fine, but not that fine. And also being well past childhood and adolescence age, and there's nothing I can do about running all of that stuff back from way in the cut. Perhaps your kids in the future can learn from this. Treatment for melanoma is limited to surgical removal, as a condition has a low response rate to chemotherapy. Yeah, that's normally one of those surgical intervention cancers, which is good that there's still treatment for it, okay? However, about 35% of U.S. adults are vitamin D deficient. That's it. I thought it was higher than that. And the American Osteopathic Association blames sunscreen use. Yeah, because some people are just absolutely spastic when it comes to, you gotta apply it, you're outside for 15 minutes. It's like I'm gardening and it's, overcast. You can still get burnt, and just shut up. People are spending less time outside, and when they do go outside, they're typically wearing sunscreen. I can probably count on one hand the amount of times I've actually worn sunscreen, but I don't know if that's a flex or just, my downfall later in life. Well, time will tell. Which essentially nullifies the body's ability to produce vitamin D, said Dr. Kim Fottenhauer. All right then, a board-certified osteopathic family physician and assistant professor at Touro University. The solution is moderation. Of course it is. It's always moderation. Why don't you have anything spicy to say? Spend 5 to 30 minutes in midday sun twice per week. Yes, just go stand out in your front lawn or on your balcony if you're in an apartment complex and just worship the sun. Do the old sun dance, praise the sun. Depending on your geographic location and skin pigmentation, or just go for a run, you loser. Fottenhofer, that's a great last name, said it's important to forget the sunscreen during these sessions because SPF 15 or higher can decrease vitamin D production by up to 99%. Holy! And plus you won't look like you just dunked your nose in some sour cream. It's terrible. It's terrible. So back to supplementation. Okay, yes, because one of the fat-soluble vitamins, that's vitamin D, A, D, E, and K. My mistake. Okay, D's still included in that, but you can run into a toxicity problem. Okay, when it comes to this, your water soluble vitamins, C's and not C's, B's as well. Okay, those don't hang around in fat nodules in order to be released whenever you're burning fat cells for energy. You'll just normally excrete them through normal regular means, and I don't know why I'm pointing off screen, but I think you can kind of deduce what I'm alluding to without being vulgar. There's an optimal daily dose for supplementation with vitamin D, and taking more than that could adversely affect our health. Starr, okay, going back to Dr. Starr, caution that vitamin D requirements depend on a person's baseline vitamin D level and whether or not they have malabsorption condition. Therefore, the amount one should take if they want to supplement should be discussed with their physician. Thanks, Doc. For healthy adults with normal absorption, thank you for giving us just a general guideline. National Institute of Health recommends a maximum of 4,000 international units per day for adults 19 years or older. I take about 2. It seems to work for me. 2,000, not just 2, because I don't know who deals with that, but mine's normally vitamin D3 because that's what I appreciate. The amount of supplementation that's too much is still unclear, but there's evidence that taking 60,000 IUs, which is, just about the entire bottle, wow, per day for several months could be toxic. Like, we don't even know. Like, if you're just out there chugging supplements, perhaps maybe just somebody was choking on the little pills. The main risk of too much vitamin D is a condition called hypercalcemia. Too much calcium in the blood, which can lead to various neurological symptoms. All right, symptoms of hypercalcemia. This is something that's never going to happen, by the way, if you're just, reasonable in your supplementation regimen. Okay. Confusion, fatigue, coma, as well as blood pain or bone pain. Holy. Weakness, stomach pain, nausea, constipation, increased urination, kidney problems, among many others. So it's basically either you're being poisoned or you're being supplemented to death. It could be a multitude of things. It could be mad cow disease for all you know. Vitamin D could protect against other cancers. Back to useful information. Regarding the Finnish study, Starr said it's interesting, but it's still insufficient evidence to recommend taking vitamin D to prevent melanoma because the study had too many confounding factors. No, supplementing properly and making sure that you have adequate vitamin D in your system is good regardless, but if you're trying to take it to, stave off skin cancer, it might be a faulty premise. You'll still be achieving very laudable goals, but you aren't really doing it for the right reasons. Now, for example, patients who take vitamin D might also be more likely to wear sunscreen, and that might actually be what accounts for the difference, maybe potentially. The authors did a statistical analysis to try to eliminate these biases, but the history of these kinds of studies, self-reporting stuff, yeah, that makes sense. At a clinical trial or a forward-looking prospective study is really needed to definitively say vitamin D might lower the risk of melanoma. Oh, just let us dream, Dr. Starr. Come on. But this is one of many studies in recent years that find the association between vitamin D levels and a cancer risk. Okay, research published in 2018. That's a few years ago. That looked at data from about 13,000 people, found that not taking enough vitamin D could increase our risk of colorectal cancer by up to 31%. Yeah, because it's really hard to sun that area appropriately. Just saying. Another study found the prostate cancer cells responded to vitamin D with decreases in proliferation, invasiveness, and metastasis. Very interesting. Not all research, okay, we got it, a prevention benefit, but scientists still observed a potentially life-saving effect. All right, a recent meta-analysis of randomized control studies concluded that vitamin D supplementation significantly reduced total cancer mortality. Cool, so if you have cancer, it's just a light case of cancer, I guess, although it failed to reduce total cancer incidence. Aw, darn it. Harvard Health recommends a healthy weight people, so regular people, not these fat losers that are just waddling around, okay, trying to think that they can get enough vitamin D by having an adequate number of Big Macs. Yuck. Developing cancer because of lifestyle or family history of cancer, take vitamin D supplements starting at around age 50. Well, I got you beat by about 2 decades, and I would recommend that you also see what your vitamin levels are. Okay, I ain't no doctor or nothing like that. I'm just a guy on the internet reading a bunch of studies, doing my research as well, and spreading the good word about proper supplementation that's out there. Get your levels checked, see what you're at, and perhaps vitamin D will be correct for you. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.